gentleman was wondering if his wife was losing her hearing. And so one night, he got behind her while she was sitting in her chair and said, "Honey, can you hear me?" No response. So he moves a little closer. "Honey, can you hear me?" Still, no response. So he moves a little closer, gets a little louder. "Honey, can you hear me?" Finally, she responds, for the third time, "Yes!" Sometimes our communication errors turn out to be an issue with ourselves. Fellow Toastmasters, Mr. Toastmaster, and anyone in the sound of my voice, speak up and learn your communication style. That's what I've done. I've learned a few things about communicating through my years of communication. I started at a pretty young age communicating verbally. And in elementary school, I actually was a pretty shy child. As an example, one of my teachers in elementary school asked me to go visit another classroom to do some kind of project. Well, I dutifully, courageously walked out, went to the room, walked down the hall, found the door, and unfortunately, it was locked. I did what any young child would do. I cried. I stood in the hallway and cried until some aide or other teacher found me and brought me back to my classroom. And in a whimpering, sniffling explanation to my teacher, I said, "I didn't know what to do. I was lost." And if all I had done was communicate better and explain that the teacher wasn't there, I could have walked back, I could have asked for help, that all could have been resolved. Well, thankfully, Toastmasters is here, and Pathways is here, and an assessment tool has been provided. And that is helping us and me learn communication styles. So I took that assessment, and I got my result. I was pleased to find out there's 4 communication styles that Pathways introduces. First, initiating. Second, supportive. Third, direct. And fourth, analytical. Which one would I be? I found out my results. 7 points, initiating. 3 points, supportive. And 1 point for direct, as well as analytical. Now, I don't know if you always get 1 point or if I truly scored on this chart, but I did get 1 point on those. So what does that mean? Initiating is the type of person that communicates in a very social environment, very comfortable with others, in front of people. They even called it gregarious, which I thought was a nice complimentary word. So this sounded pretty nice. I thought, well, that kind of fits. I do feel comfortable in front of others. I do enjoy socializing at work, and I do enjoy interacting. But are there any vulnerabilities or areas of concern? And there are. There's things that we want to make sure we communicate effectively. And with initiating, the concepts there is that sometimes the person can communicate so much and so over the top that they may not listen very well or be perceived as listening very well. They may also be perceived as somebody that is impulsive or doesn't think through the situation. Well, that doesn't sound good at all. I don't want to be perceived that way. So how do I then interact when I'm communicating? I've thought about those and using this information to apply it. Most recently, I got a phone call from a relative of my wife. She is having her daughter get married, and she invited me to be the master of ceremonies. Whoa! This is not what I thought was going to be a great idea. But I thought about my communication style, and that I do thrive and do enjoy that social interaction environment. And I thought, even though I would be uncomfortable I'm going to push myself because I think the reward will be positive. I will make sure that I don't go over the top. I don't want to try and steal the show from the bride and groom, who it should be all about. And I will listen to those people, but I can be aware of that engagement. In thinking about the other situations that I can apply, I need to be also very thoughtful and mindful of listening to others so that I do not come across as somebody that is ignorant or self-absorbed. This is another example of a story about how I need to be careful of the different interaction tools, the different communication styles, such as direct. Direct is not as emotional or revealing about their emotions. And an initiating person communicates through their emotions and representing. So when I'm receiving communication from a direct person, I need to remember that they're not trying to be offensive. They're just appearing that way to me, maybe because of their direct approach. Going back to my elementary school days, this happened again. I was in a class and the teacher was teaching us about handwriting skills. Don't go outside the lines. Don't go into other words. Well, this was quite direct for me. And so I did what most kids do. I started to cry. A little silly to cry over penmanship. In fact, one of my classmates said, "Are you okay? What are you crying about?" Well, I was a little embarrassed. And I think any communication style can have a little bit of humor. And I said, "Oh, I just have a problem with my eyes." It was a problem. But understanding now these communication styles, that teacher wasn't being mean to me. They were just being direct and explaining the situation. I've learned a lot from communicating and practice. The Pathways assessment tool has taught me these skills, and I feel like I've improved upon it. So now I'm comfortable to say that I don't cry when there's a closed door. And I'm able to talk with people in an effective manner and practice these communication styles with others. So I hope and invite you and challenge to participate with others in your communication style and engage with them in their communication style without raising your voice. Mr. Toastmaster.